sinkhole towards the middle.
Yeah, but I'm looking more like at how many rocks that has that seem to be highlighted. Actually, they're just regular looking rocks. Never mind. They're not
Well,
destructible.
yeah, I haven't seen this map yet, so we'll do a quick little tour in a moment, guys. But let's get these players introduced first. In the bottom left corner of the map, you may know him better as Drunken Boy, but has gone under some attempts to rebrand himself as the Red Terran player Tyga.
Yep, right. As the blue Zerg, it's liquid Snute.
Oh, look at that cactus is even have flowers. Yeah, it's so cute.
Is this an any spawn map? You know?
I would imagine it is just due to the symmetry of the map.
Yeah. Oh, it's like no horizontal because there's something imbalanced there. It doesn't look like it.
Maybe. Well, a quick look at the map, one way or the other. Main base,
Oh.
nothing too crazy to look at. There's a weird little cliff here for Reapers, maybe.
I'm looking at horizontal from Snoot to the top left, and I imagine a TVT with that, like Snoot's main base to the other person's natural. Like tanks just sit right there, and they're just gonna
Oh yeah. Well, it's not even TVT. That's just TV anything. It's kind of like almost not as bad as Deadwing, but there's a large area you'd have to wrap around to get to the tanks.
This reminds me of just a specific location. Oh, Circuit Breaker? No, that's a Brood War map. Man, it was like a map when like Lenok and Joshi played with the GSL, and I was like, such a bullshit map for Terran.
I wonder which,
And it was.
I wonder which third you take on this one. They both go to low ground, so there's no real distinct advantage. There's lots of ways to get to these bases from both sides. I mean, the thirds are quickly accessible, which is nice. You don't have to worry about tearing down rocks or anything so weird, but they are both fairly exposed, fairly vulnerable.
Yeah, that is a really good question. I honestly have no idea. The other question's like, where does the fourth go? On the other side, the other third you're supposed to take, or do you keep expanding towards like one direction? I don't know.
You like One Direction.
Not as much as Hearthstone.
Okay, so like, so it looks like, by the way, it's not a cross spawn only one, or at least to their knowledge, as both players are scouting vertically first. So Hearthstone, or not Hearthstone, damn it, Tyga will send a Reaper up to the north, and Snute sends his Overlord here to the south. But I'm looking at the middle of the map too. I really, from what looked like, yeah, you mentioned these weird rocks here in the middle. It looked like there was going to be a lot more of a connecting path to this watchtower than there is. There's actually quite a bit of open space. But also, curiously enough, these weird little terrain doodads make this pretty decent force field engagement area. Not amazing, but it's better than just wide open area in the middle.
What are the point of the rocks in this map?
Maybe there's a thing with the map makers, right? Where they're like, all right, here's the rule. We all got to use at least 10 rocks on our maps, one way or the other. So this guy was like, well, screw it. The rocks are a stupid mechanic. I'll just use them as aesthetics instead.
Apparently, I cannot imagine a situation where I take on these rocks. I really can't.
I guess maybe if you're Protoss, like with nothing to do because there's posturing going on, it does open up little areas where you could bait force fields and fights. But Terran and Zerg, you're right, I can't really see too much of a way to use these, much less abuse these.
Yeah.
And for that, that's actually not a bad thing, guys. That's I'd say that's a good thing almost.
Oh. Snoot's been opening up with the same build, like almost every TDZ, again with super fast speed.
Super fast speed isn't that a bad thing?
You know, it's a kind of terrifying thing for Terran.
Nope. Nope. Unless you got 3 levels of cliffs to dance around with.
Just leave on me. Just go for the attack.
Leave the Reaper alone. Alright, the Queen's gonna kill this one.
Nope.
Nope,
Reaper.
the Link gets it, yeah. Back at home though, Tyga not quite set up for this. Yeah.
That's a big problem.
Depot was down. This is the trend of all the TVZs we're casting lately, and I don't like that.
I know, right? I don't like the way that TVZ is going right now. It's like when mutas were like unbeatable.
So now,
Really
basically.
You. Again, I do want to note that these maps specifically seem to taken in account like abusable dead space behind the bases. So, just saying.
I'm actually a little bit curious how much you wanted to take that base. You know, you pulled all the SVs to defend with. A couple of Hellions were out. I thought he was just going to lift and go back to the main deal. He had more Marines than Hellions out, to be honest with you. But securing the natural is always a good thing. Down on workers only a little, not a whole lot.
It's a big natural. It's like Infernal Pool's natural.
It is, but it's also not quite like Heavy Rain natural, where Heavy Rain natural is really abusable, I feel.
Oh, because it had like entire dead space. You're like, why would I ever want to put something over there?
Yeah.
And that's what the Thanatos is.
Well, it's not so bad on this one, but you know, I just realized the map kind of looks like a bit of a TIE fighter right now with the way they scouted.
Oh yeah, it does. Oh my god.
Star Wars nerds, so stoked at you right now. Okay, but for Snute, I like this third, I guess. If your opponent spawns down here, you want to split the map, going vertically kind of makes sense.
Sure. I guess the fourth base has to be the other third. The other fourth base should be way too far away. I don't know. But we have a Hellbat timing on the way. It's going to be accompanied with a Banshee and maybe a couple of Marines. Well, it would have been a couple of Marines if they all didn't die.
Actually, that does suck quite a bit, because it's those 4 Marines that come with this push that kills Queens. It's the 4 Marines that are the steady DPS instead of the bursty DPS. But, yeah, the armory is finished. He's going to attack these roaches, and the Banshee, I don't know what she's doing.
Dying if she doesn't move.
Yeah, it's sitting above the Spore Crawler. Awkward!
Being very useless so far.
Well, I mean, if he kills the Roach Horde. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, the transformation did go down, and he's chasing the roaches back, and Hellbats are pretty darn good, but they can be kited, especially on creep. However, choosing to take the fight ever since instead of micro.
This is not a big deal. Easy peasy.
Yeah, truth be told, it may have been better to leave them as Hellions and just go for a run-by towards that third.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that third. This Banshee's not going to do a whole lot. Where, in regards to Hellion Harass, now Tyga chose to use them as Hellbats, that's more of a direct push, but how hard would it be to stop the Hellions from getting in there?
I'd say quite hard. He does have an Overlord scouting one of the locations, so at least he'd be able to maneuver himself, but yeah, they'd be able to run in here pretty quick and get out. Now, this is the downside to this, though, right? Unlike other maps, these are hugging the cliff, so you can't run behind the mineral lines with the Hellions. You can't get those free shots off, and if the drone, you don't want to run into a mineral line because the drones get pulled, and suddenly your Hellions actually kind of suck.
Yeah, yeah. I do like how Snute has played this map. Just starting off with the aggression was whatever. I was actually talking about the roach transition seems to be the safest way to play if a third looks a little iffy. Just in terms of defense, and it is so wide that there's so much space for the Hellions to kite around if it was only Ling defense.
You know, speaking of thirds too, we do have one set up here for Tyga, but I don't know if he can really secure this anytime soon. He's playing Bio, not Mech, definitely worth noting, but that being said, it's a lot easier for Snute to defend a base like this because of the mobilities of Zerg, rather than Tyga to have his whole army out of position and try and run to a third base and defend it.
Yeah. And also just looking at the attack path, you know, where does the Terran start and where is he going to attack? I don't, like, it's weird. He's got to go up a ramp at the third, which is already odd. And because of these rocks, it's actually not so direct to Snute's own third. He loses the Hellions, going to make keeping that third alive even harder.
You know, when I saw the map just at the thumbnail, I really didn't like the way this map looked, but the more we're seeing this get played out, I actually...
thought it was... You like it?
Yeah, it's not so bad. I mean, I'm talking about the aesthetics of it again, not the actual balance, because the balance is something that has to be tested. But, oh, the depots are down! Oh, let's get this other one! Okay, he gets the other one.
Thank God. Alright, so that's not too bad then. All the Marines are here, and that's definitely enough to take care of them.
Oh no, why would you
come in? He lets them out.
Yeah, what were you talking about? You had him cut!
Alright, that's all done with then. I was gonna say, I thought it would be a smaller map when I first looked at the thumbnail. So it's bigger than I expected just in general,
yes.
But because of those blockers, it is not a very, like, straight to your base. Not for the Terran anyways. They're fast enough anyways, so it doesn't matter for them, but for Terran, it's a little windy.
And sometimes Terran can be a little whiny. Case in point right here. Spire on the way for Snute. He's also got those upgrades. It's worth noting Tygas are a little bit behind. Not massively, so this 1-1 finishes here very shortly, but it's the timing of this combat shield that's going to make any sort of attack right now a little bit frustrating. You can, to an extent, pull off drops, sure, but it's only going to take a small amount of a response if those Marines don't have that bonus in health.
Again, we have a problem of not a whole lot of dead space. Like, legitimately on this map, there's not any dead space. Where Echo, as we pointed out, had, like, no dead space, but then off to the side, a lot of dead space, more visible towards Protoss than Zerg. Here, there is a wall of cactus flowers that if they get unloaded there, they will die. Horrible, painful death.
I love that they're actually different colors. Like, that's the dedication this map maker took, where it's like, you know what?
Shouldn't the banelings like pop on these cactus flowers? Like, oh, I rolled into an accident.
Oh my god, yes, I agree. They would, Zerg control would need to be so much more important. No, but
Can you, fix this? This is
it sounds really silly, and I'm not just making a bad joke, but this is the detail on maps we get nowadays, where it's like, well, I could just put a cactus everywhere, but that looks pretty boring, let's put flowers on. But oh, there's like a million of the same flowers, let's color them differently. It's not something that's ever going to be focused on, but it's something I particularly like to see. But despite all these widow mines, can he get them burrowed, and can they be in good positions for this engagement? Dealing with the mutalisks is totally manageable. There's not that many. Combi shields is finished. We have Snute breaking down the rocks.
What?
I mean, I guess it's slightly quicker than running all the way around if you're going from north to south. I don't know.
I guess so.
It saves you like a second of time, but I guess in StarCraft 2, a second of time could be all the world of difference. So why not, while you're waiting for your banelings to hatch, clean this up? I don't know. He doesn't even kill it, so whatever.
The other ones. This is like Pro League, all right? You know the Pro League map that had like a ton of rocks? They had 2 maps like that. People would just break down rocks for whatever reason they wanted to.
Well, the banelings annihilate everything as they come from the north and from the south. SCVs are pulled away from this. Oh no, but they're stuck in with the banelings! Banelings take the last couple of units, and good game is called. Oh, go! The end of that game. Snute, ladies and gentlemen, will take game number 1 in this best of 3.
He did not make that map look good for Terran.
No, he did not, but I think there was also a little bit